Okay, so welcome back to another episode of Finding Your Way with Lori and Tonya. We are super excited you're here. If you're a first-time listener, listen, we wholeheartedly believe that there are no coincidences. You have found us for a reason, this episode for a reason. And if you are a long-term listener, if you've listened to us before, thank you for coming back. Our sole mission here is to provide information that it took us a while to learn and to mine and to find and to dig for, and that we've learned from, and techniques and just conversations that we wish we had and heard while we were on our journey. And we're still on our journey. So as we continue to learn more and grow, we're just bringing that information to the table, which is kind of interesting because that's how today's episode came about. Lori texted me a quote that she had seen, and I read it and I immediately thought, wow, like how profound. And I haven't thought about it in that manner. And then she texted me like her take on it, which was exactly my take on it, which is not odd for the two of us. But it was interesting that something so simple really resonated and landed in such a way with us both.
Yeah, so I'll just read it because, I can't say it. I can't summarize it in the way that this guy wrote it. So it's from Yung Pueblo is the author of it. And it says, if you expect your relationship to always be fun, high energy, and without conflict, then you are unconsciously attached to perfection. Even great relationships have downtimes, slow moments, and conflict that appears so you can better understand each other and reach deeper harmony. And Tonya and I find ourselves a lot of times talking to each other about the slow times, the down times, the not exciting times of relationships, mainly with our significant others. And we want it to be that high vibe and energetic and fun and that kind of thing. And when I saw that, I thought back to all these conversations we've had, and I've never looked at it like that. I've never looked at it as, we really should be appreciating the calm, the slow and easy, the not fun, high vibe times, because it does. When we're in the fun, high vibe times, we don't go deeper. We don't try to get through anything because there's nothing to get through. But when you have conflict, when you have those times where you're not really going and having fun and all of that, it does give you the opportunity to learn more about each other and to grow as in a relationship. And it's just a really different way to look at it. And I've never looked at it like that before.
And I think for me, my mind went straight to, wow. So I do, Lori and I are very big into manifesting and the law of attraction. And so there's often times that in my morning journaling, I will write an affirmation around something I do want, right? And how I want my relationship to be easy and fun and effortless. And I'll pick out even some pretty specific things about the relationship or characteristics I want my partner to have, or maybe he does have, but would like for him to bring out a little bit more. But I think that what landed for me is the times that that is not the case. The times when he's done something that has made me unsatisfied or has hurt my feelings, or, maybe he didn't do something I really wanted or felt like I needed. I need to appreciate that, because I don't think we would be where we are had I not learned the lessons and learned more about him in a deeper perspective. Because when things are sunshine and roses, you don't dig deeper, you enjoy the sunshine and roses. But when they're not, I think it allows for conversation around those things. Sometimes it's really tough conversations, which we've been there and had. But I think those conversations allowed us to really get to know each other, how each other ticks a little bit, maybe each other's triggers. Something so small for me had we not had some conflict around it, he never would have realized, oh, that's so simple. That's a trigger for her. So it's not a big deal if I do or stop doing whatever that is. But that would never come to light had there not been some conflict or some rub there to make us have that conversation. And so I think for me, it was maybe just being okay with the fact that it's not always sunshine and roses and fun. Because in order to get there, you've got to really get to know each other first. And for that to be a lasting relationship, I think that you got to have these times.
I was just telling somebody last week at a conference, we were talking about trying new things, like at work, trying new ways of doing things. And, sometimes it don't work out like it does. But what you come from that with is you've tried something and you learn a lesson, even if, like, we grow in the mistakes of life and the failures, so-called failures of life. If it's all working well, we don't really learn and grow, and so it's not a bad thing to want to be high vibe and high energy and positive and all of that all the time. However, it really isn't sustainable. And if you're there all the time, there's never that leveling up, because
That's right.
I think that's what the conflict and the moments where we have these opportunities to make a mistake and grow from it and have these conversations like you're talking about, what that does is it takes us from here, we get through the conflict, we see the blessing in it, and we level up, right? And so we've got a new normal of we're at an even higher level than we were before any of that happened.
Right. And like you said, it's not just in relationships, it's in work, it's in life, it's in how we view anything in our lives that maybe could be better, and we want better, and we want to be more grand. We have to stop a minute and be appreciative for the times when it's not, and learn, because that's how we build on top of that, right? I mean, it's kind of like the foundation for building to the next step, And you said it too when we were talking about our positive vibe tribe. So those of you who know, Lori and I have a great group on Facebook called the Positive Vibe Tribe. And how often, Lori, do people message us or put a comment in somebody else's post about how, well, you just can't be happy and positive all the time. And then Lori said the perfect thing. Lori, share with the comment.
Yeah. So the thing is that no, we can't be positive and high vibe all the time. And that really isn't what our group's about. What the group's about is changing your mindset so that you look at everything in life in a positive way, in a positive mindset, from that positive mind space. And so even when there's challenges, you can see the lessons, you can see the blessings in the challenges. And so you are living positively because your mind is now looking at those as opportunities, as lessons, as blessings, versus it's not about being positive all the time and everything going your way all the time. It's even when things don't, being able to see the positive in it and see the benefits of that experience you've just had.
Yes. And carrying that benefit over into the next thing so that it is more positive. And I think that's where some people misconstrue our group too, because there are people who will post things that aren't sunshine, and sometimes they are thought-provoking, and you kind of go, wow, I hadn't thought about it like that. But in the grand scheme of things, the whole point is to make us think differently. So there are going to be things in our lives that is bringing our energy down. It's low, it's hurtful, it's harmful. It hurts. But when you can say, okay, what is this here to teach me? Yeah. And you can really lock into that and say, okay, well, here's what I learned. And so next time I will do this, or I won't do that based on this experience. And that's when you just start living the next step and the next step until you're up to the level you want to be. And I think that's exactly where you and I came from. And we were down in the bottom tier of life when we started, we didn't just jump up to sunshine and rainbows, right? I mean, it was a step by step. It was, okay, what's this lesson? Or, okay, what can I pull positive out of this conversation, this situation, this work, this relationship? And I think once we started doing that, even the bad things, we could see the reason they were put before us. God, universe, whatever, your belief is, whatever your language is. But why has this come to us? It's not to punish us. It's not because we punish us for doing something wrong. It's to teach us how to do the next thing right, or better, or to be better.
I'd say we both started where we weren't even seeing the blessings in the good times. We weren't even seeing the blessings and the good things that came of the high vibe fun stuff. Like we
Right.
couldn't even appreciate that. So it is we've taught ourselves through positive thinking, through the things we've talked about on this podcast. Those are methods we've used to get there, but eventually you get to where when you see something like the little thing I read, actually going, oh, okay, yeah, like that's what we're doing. We're actually trying to get to harmony, and harmony doesn't mean it's always good. Right? It doesn't mean that it's always positive and everything, but it is being able to see that everything's working out in our favor, and that there's benefits to everything we experience in life. And it may not feel like it, but if we can think about it in that way, we do tend to grow from it, learn from it, and level up a little bit.
Absolutely. 100%. And so again, it was a quote that Lori texted me, and I read it and I thought, wow, how profound, and how how did I miss that? Right. I mean, we're doing the work. How did I miss that? How have I not ever thought about it in that terms? And then her response to me was pretty similar to what was going through my mind when I read it. And I thought, gosh. And so we just had finished talking about it and thought, okay, we need to share. So that's where we are. So just think about, what you can learn and how you can grow from the times when it's not perfect, because nobody lives in perfect. Yeah. And we all strive for perfect, but perfect can't come until the challenges and being grateful for the good things, because there were some bad things. So that's our take on it for today.